This is our love story. This is our journey.
I've been listening to your cup.
Yeah.
I ain't walking away. That's not it.
Hey guys, we back. Funny story. This is the second time we're recording this episode because
Yeah.
our devices just didn't record the last time.
And after like an entire, I think like an hour
Yo,
of just
and
like,
it was good.
And we're like spilling beans. Like,
Sure, like we were preaching. But you know what? It's okay. Everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we back. First time back as an award-winning podcast.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yay.
That's exciting.
Yeah, very, very exciting. I have a review. Let's get straight into the review. And this is from Soks Masogisi. And Soks gave us 5-star. I've really fallen in love with your podcast and listening to all the topics that you guys navigate. I find myself asking myself about my life and the journey I want to take going forward.
Yeah, boy.
Keep giving us good content and really love you guys.
Aw.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's so great to be interacting with the comments and the reviews again. It's really
Yeah.
nice to know how you guys feel. And as much as we don't do it for validation,
Yeah, but it's nice. It's nice to know
really
that we're on
nice.
the right track, ne?
Yeah.
Yeah, and today's podcast is brought to you by MedShield Medical Scheme. Visit the MedShield Mom website and access a wide library of health and wellness content pertaining to pregnancy, baby health, and being a new mom. Expectant mothers can also sign up for personalized pregnancy journeys with weekly development notifications of your unborn child. Just another way that MedShield Medical Scheme is adding more support and value to its members across different stages of its life. Before we get into today's topic, how you been? What's going on? What's happening?
I'm good. I've been working very hard on the music. I've been living in the studio.
Literally.
Funny enough,
Literally living in the studio.
Today's topic, actually, it's gonna link up because we almost got to that point because of just balancing the studio life. Guys, being a musician is tough. In that you have to be like, you have to stay focused and locked in, and sometimes it's a lot of sacrifice, a lot
Yeah.
of, especially if you're like me and you you try to be a present father and a decent husband. It's a lot of work
Yeah.
to kind of balance things out.
Are there do you think there's a lot of musicians or people in the music industry who are family focused and pushing career at the same time? Or do most of them first push career, then settle into family? Like, who do you know that's pushed both at the same time?
At the same time, I think I'm the only one.
Ah.
No, I think it's you have to do it seasonally. Yabo?
Yeah.
I think a lot of the guys that I know that do it at the same time, they have older kids.
Yeah.
So I think it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But I think with newer kids, all the guys that I know, I mean, you have to sacrifice something
Ish.
to be a part of your child's life in that early stages. People say the first 4 years is like when your child develops a personality. So for me, I think that's what's in the back of my
It's
mind.
like you need to be there.
So even when I'm traveling, I'm like, if I do like too many days where I'm not home, I just feel like I'm missing out. And it's funny because you come back and your child does look bigger.
Yeah.
And
And they're
seem
doing more
smarter.
stuff and saying more stuff.
You would
so
know
it's-
because your career is the same.
It is. Yeah, it is. But I mean, I guess sort of the difference between my career and your career is that you need like a whole lot of inspiration. So, for example, you can be in the studio from 10 a.m. Just doing whatever, and then your inspo
Sure.
shows up at like midnight.
Yeah.
Right. I don't need to do that. Like my prep time is my prep time.
Sure.
My reading time is my reading time. Research time is my research time. Okay, maybe in terms of travel,
That's where it
yes,
gets
that's
tricky.
where it kind of gets tricky. But I mean, we can say no to things, and we spoke before.
We can.
You see, we're jumping, but before we get into this, we spoke about it. Gucci, sometimes we say, no, I'm doing it for this one. I'm doing it for this one. But if we actually really take time
doing it
and
for yourself.
you're doing it for yourself, and which is okay, but then we must be honest about that. going forth. It's not for your kids, it's for yourself. I mean, in context, it is for your kids.
There's
'cause
a level.
There's
I
a
think,
level,
but
yeah.
I think there's a level that we cross, and
Yeah.
it's
Like,
just
no,
greed
it's got
at
nothing
that
to do with your
point,
kids
yeah.
and it's got to do with you. But yeah, we're learning, hey?
We are.
All right, so I've got a nice quote, and it says, "There is no winner of the argument. Marriage is a partnership, so you both win or you both lose." And today's topic is the D word.
What's that?
Firstly, what do you think of this quote? Basically, there's no winner in what we're doing, right? It's either we're both losing or we're both winning.
I
So you can't
agree.
win and then I'm losing.
I think if we both look at it that way, it's good.
Okay.
Because, of course, if we work together as a team and we look at everything as a team, and I mean, I can't see how that wouldn't work. Yeah, but I think the problem would be if when you look at it as, okay, there's no winning if you just win, like we a team, and then I'm also looking out for me. So now we both
Looking out for
looking
each
out
other.
for me. No.
Oh, looking out for you.
Yes, because
yes.
I'm not seeing it that way. So
Yes.
I think if two people look at it that way and we both understand the goal and we look at the growth of the marriage and how far it can go, and we kind of want to do everything that benefits that,
The marriage, yeah.
I think it works. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think I look at it in
You
a
want to win the argument?
No, not not even. But how do I unpack this? I look at it in the context of, if I want to win the argument, right? I can keep winning the argument, let's say for like 5 years, 10 years. You put up with me always being right, me always calling the shots, and you just kind of lay down and say, hey, look, actually, you're always right. But eventually there comes a time where you're going to be resentful and you're going to be tired. And then by the time that comes, we've all lost.
For sure.
So I look at it that way, like, I can win. You can win and get your way. But there comes a time where it's just like the marriage element has lost because each person or one person has chosen themselves and the other person is just like, I'm not willing to put up a fight, but
Yeah.
or I'm sacrificing for the other. But until when?
I think that's then the balance, because I think that's the thing, Wuti. Sometimes, yes, you can win the argument, but you're losing the battle.
The battle,
or
yes.
you're losing the bigger picture.
The bigger picture, yeah.
That's actually at play there.
Yeah.
So maybe you are right.
Yeah.
But in the context of what's happening,
Yeah.
maybe you kind of have to. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just relationships as a whole are just a bigger picture than yes or no, black or
Yes,
white,
yes.
right or wrong.
Yeah,
Like there's
for
just
sure.
so many things that come into play. We're talking about the D word. I don't think we've ever spoken about divorce on our podcast.
I don't think we have.
Yeah, and we had to sit down and we're like, okay, do you really want to talk about this? Because it affects a lot, and it
does.
and it's not, once again, it's not black and white. There's no right or wrong. There's the complicatedness of it, and the hurt and the pain and the after effects of it, right?
Yeah. And there's also the beauty of what was.
Hectic.
Yeah.
There's also the beauty of what was.
Yeah, because I just feel like also, I think in life we can accept seasons, right?
Yeah.
In everything else, but there's
Yeah.
certain things where we can't.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that there should be, but I'm saying that sometimes they are.
They are.
Yeah, bo?
Yeah.
And you realize, I mean, when you have kids, I think one thing I love about having kids is that it opens you up to a different way.
Yeah.
Because, like, I had ideas of how I wanted to raise Uzani and this man that I want to raise, and then he's just his own guy.
Doing his own
Like,
thing.
none of my stuff works. It doesn't work on that kid.
Yeah.
And so, but what it teaches me is to embrace what is. Yeah, bo?
Sure. Yeah.
So I guess when it comes to the D word, I don't want to say it out loud. I feel like it's dangerous. But like when it comes to that, I honestly feel like like you said, it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
And we obviously, when we got married, this is a life contract.
Yeah.
We look
and
at
I
it
think
like
for
that.
everyone that
For
is
everyone,
the case.
we
No
look at
one
it like
gets
a life
married
contract.
thinking.
And it's like you wanna do, but I guess things happen, and
Yeah.
and sometimes like you are physically endangered.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's so many things
Yeah.
that happen. And so for me, it's not really about looking at what led to it, as opposed to understanding where you are and how you can protect what you have, and the almost the sacredness and the authenticity of what brings you together. Because I do feel like with us, and the reason we're doing this podcast is because it's not Tuguti, we haven't been like on that limit, that
Yeah,
edge. I
that
mean,
conversation.
I don't think you're married to someone for almost 6 years and you don't have that conversation.
Apparently, if you make it to 5 years, that is like a really good sign. I don't know who I was talking to, but apparently, like the 5 year, once you cross that 5 year mark, you can
Goodness,
breathe.
something.
Like you can go, "Kancane nje, I got cool.
No,
Kancane
you can
go
never breathe. You
just
have,
a little bit. Like you can let out a, and then
yeah, but like you don't get to that point and not have that thought.
Yeah.
You know, I think
Just like,
even
can't do this.
first year of marriage, I think you go in and you're like,
What the hell?
could I have made a mistake?
Yeah.
Marrying this monster.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, so but I think Bumi's got a bunch of questions
Yeah.
and things that we're gonna discuss. Yeah.
Okay, so there's 3 eyes. Obviously not limited to this. And please take the way you consume this conversation, consume it like you would consume a fish, right? That's what Pastor Tians used to say.
Well, I wouldn't say a fish, but like fish.
Like fish. Like fish, eat, but be careful of the bones. Take out
Yes.
the bones. So basically, take what resonates with you, leave out what doesn't. We're not experts. We always mention this. We simply have conversations that allows everybody else to also have those conversations.
Yes,
Yabo?
for sure. Yo, kuyashisa, guys.
so-
If you see me doing this, I was
burning up.
Oh,
It's
so hot.
Okay. So 3 I's that cause divorce: incompatibility, infidelity, and irreconcilable differences. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. Those things, I can see why those things would cause people to separate, for sure. The first one is incompatibility.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's a big
What
one.
does that even look like? Especially if you've already said we're getting married. You probably get married because you think you're compatible, right?
Yeah.
And then now,
I think
how do you get there?
people change. Yes,
Ah.
you see, sometimes people grow. Yabo? So who I was when we were compatible, maybe I'm not that person anymore. So for instance, like if I met you ematlabini, manje angisawahamba amatlab.
And I mean,
You understand?
Yeah.
So now we incompatible.
yeah. And you can't expect me to change.
I can't force you to change.
You can't force me to
I can
change.
certainly expect you to change.
Can you expect
I think, well, look, we generally live life with expectation. I don't think, like, I know it's, and we should live with no expectations.
Yeah, but we do have
But
expectations.
we generally have expectations.
Yeah.
And especially when you're dating someone, I think, or you married to someone, I think you definitely, there's certain things that you expect them to do at the very least.
Yeah.
So, I think it happens. We always talk about if you're not growing together, you're growing apart.
Yeah, which I think even personally, for the most part this year, we've spent a lot of time coming together, really wanting to discuss if we're still on the same page.
Yeah.
In terms of values and in terms of things that are important to each one of us. Because if I go ahead with things that are important to me and you go ahead with things that are important to you and we're not considerate of each other, then we end up going on different paths where we become now independent individuals in a marriage. There's no more that unity. There's no more that oneness. Everybody's just doing it themselves. And maybe it can be okay for a bit, but then it just continues to drain the relationships, and then that's when we start feeling like, okay, are we still even compatible? Because I'm interested in doing my own thing, and I'm not compromising my thing. You're doing your thing. You're not compromising your own thing. Then what's left? What's the point? What's the point of being married?
I think, and you know what's scary about that is sometimes we're doing the same thing individually.
Yeah.
and differently.
Yeah.
And that's, for me, that's the scariest type of incompatibility, because it's scary
Sure.
that we could go into the same venture and not see it the same.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we were going through, is we were both, we work together,
Yeah.
we have the same goals, but like it wasn't feeling the same.
Yeah.
Like it was
Yeah.
just not like, you were hearing it here, I'm
And you're
hearing
hearing
it
it
here.
here. Yeah.
And it's a scary thing.
Yeah.
Because it requires you to be vulnerable and
Yeah.
open.
Yeah, I actually wanted to get to that I think just on this specific topic, for me, a breakthrough felt like conflict.
Yeah,
Because in all of
Always.
this, we're both avoiding conflict.
we are.
We
So we're
it's
both
actually
avoiding conflict
yeah.
because we feel like bringing it up makes it a thing, right?
Yeah.
Because for as long as we avoid it, it can be like, yeah, but
Yeah.
we're raising our kids in a Christian way.
Yeah.
But the Christian way doesn't look the same
For me and for
and
you.
it doesn't look the same
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we work together, so we're spending time together, but
That's not spending time together
that's
to
not
me.
the spending time together that you
I
want.
want, yeah.
Bo? So it's like, when you say it, it creates conflict because
Yeah.
everyone gets defensive.
Defensive.
Or
Everyone wants
everyone gets honest. Let's say that. Rather.
that
Everyone gets honest, and that's the truth. That's your
Yeah,
truth.
yeah.
And I'm not allowed to not see it. Unfortunately, I also have my truth, and I'm not allowed to not see that.
Yeah.
And that's where therapy
And
comes in.
you're
there.
also allowed to be offended by
I'm
my
allowed to be offended. So it's kind of like, now you have to do these things, and now I have to defend my truth, and you have to defend your truth.
Yeah.
And eventually we have to get to a point where we realize, okay, we're both wrong.
Yeah.
But not really wrong. But we
Yeah.
both have to kind of look inside for the answer. Like your mom said it. You know, your mom's the wisest woman
What
in
did
the
she
world.
say?
She said, like, your partner is a reflection of you.
yourself, yeah.
So a lot of times the changes that you need to make are within.
Yeah.
And it's in avoiding those changes that you find yourself digging the hole deeper. Yeah, bo? So I think within compatibility, it's about looking at growing together
Yeah.
instead of growing apart.
Apart. Infidelity.
That's a tough one.
Why is it a tough one?
It's just tough.
How?
What do you mean?
What do you mean it's a tough
so
one?
complex.
Why?
What do you mean why? Because like once you add a third party, it changes things, right?
Yeah.
It's like with anything, nje. Zama nje manje uthenge i-charger ye third party. Disappoint. So it's just because marriage was designed for two people. I think you let in a third person or multiple people.
Yeah.
Peleng assume. And it just makes it hard because then there's a new dynamic that's added. There's a new hurt, a
Yeah.
new trauma that's added, a new crack that's added into the relationship that now you have to constantly be, if you are to try and fix things, you have to be constantly aware of that trauma. Yabo? So it's kind of like, think about, for instance, if your child had a bad hip. Yabo?
Okay.
Your baby had a bad hip.
Yeah.
So every time you play with that baby, you have to consider
Sure, the
ukuthi
bad hip.
umntwana ilona akakwazi ukuroba litheka kahle. Yabo? So it's the same thing. It's like
Yeah.
there's an injury now.
Yeah.
Yabo?
Yeah. That you can't take away.
That you cannot take away immediately.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can ever take it away completely.
Yeah.
It surely can heal like
Yeah.
any scar.
Yeah.
But it's there, and it has to be good. So I think I understand why it's a big thing, because the work that is required is immense.
I actually want us to also look at infidelity not just as bringing in a third party in a human form, but also a third party in terms of your career, in terms of money, and in terms of friends. Because I think we like to focus on the fact of, oh, okay, there was another woman or there was another man. But then sometimes there was the job that takes the place of because I
I think that's even more real, if I'm being honest, because the thing about work
yeah.
is work can be justified.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand?
Like you can say, but I'm
if I
working
bring
for
in
you.
another woman, like there's very few things I can explain.
few.
about
There's
it.
just nothing.
Like I mean, there's just.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
just saying,
just- yeah.
like, there's so much you
Yeah,
can do
yeah,
with that.
yeah.
Like you can say, I was stressed.
Yeah.
Or you weren't giving me attention, or we
Yeah.
weren't having sex. Whatever. I get
Yeah.
it. These are the common things that supposedly lead to, even though we know it's a deficiency
Yeah.
of the person.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We clear on that.
Yes.
We clear on
it's
that.
The other, it's
a
it's
deficiency
a you
of,
thing.
It's not to do with the partner.
No,
It's
it's
got
not to
nothing
do-
to do with.
yeah.
Yes, those things affect. I would say,
Can be a can be a trigger.
yeah, but like it's kind of like, for instance, if you it's like if you run and you can't do a 5 kilometer, is it the road's fault for being steep?
Okay, that's good.
Do you understand, or
Yeah.
is it your fault for not being fit?
Yeah.
So
Or not taking the correct measures.
or not like
Protecting
working out
yourself,
enough, not
yeah.
preparing.
Preparing. Yeah.
Not preparing.
Yeah.
Might
yeah.
be that. So yeah, but with work, oh my goodness, I can say, babe, siya renovate.
Yeah, yeah.
Funa ngenzeni?
Yeah.
Siya renovate.
Yeah, you want to drive a nice car. You want to go
Yabona?
on holiday.
Like there's so much.
Yo.
I honestly, and it's hard because I guess we don't look at that as infidelity.
Yeah.
When you treat your job better than you treat
Yeah.
your wife.
Anything that you put before your marriage, other than God, I think I'd consider it infidelity.
It's cheating
It is cheating.
because you are replacing
You're
what should
replacing-
be first.
Yeah, with something. Even your kids.
That's tough. In that regard, I think we've
I think we're killing that one.
well,
no?
I think we've cheated on each other
What?
a lot.
Really?
I think we sometimes
I've been very conscious of that.
you have, but
But-
sometimes I think in your mind, Bona, that thing I was just in, at least I've got my kids. At least you've got your kids. Like, yabo? Like, because the thing is, your child, I feel like your child, the way you love a child, they can never disappoint you.
Yeah, they don't.
And you know this, especially at the age
Especially
that
at
they
this
are.
age. We don't know about when they become
I mean,
teenagers,
they'll maybe
but
break.
right now.
They'll maybe break a TV or
Yeah,
two.
but doesn't matter. Yeah,
But
Zani.
those are little
I mean,
things.
Zani broke my parents' TV, and my parents were they were so happy.
They were
They
so
were just
fine
happy
with it.
he's
I
there.
was so impressed with the maturity.
Yeah, they were just happy he's
I was
there.
like, I married into a great family. so yeah, but yeah, even with kids, I think we do. I think more than not, we are very conscious about
yeah,
still being us.
yeah.
Not being umama waseka. Mpumi hates it when I treat her. Oh, Nkogama goes. Can you see my socks here? Yeah, Mpumi hates it when I treat her like the mother of my kids,
I'm
even though
not.
she is.
I am, but I'm not.
Yeah,
Because you don't
She's
need
my
me.
wife
I'm your
first.
wife. I'm your girl first.
When I met you, bewuhlabelela esontweni, bewumhlabeleli.
What does that have to do with anything? But yeah,
So-
it's just I want you to see me the person
Yeah,
before you see me and my role.
absolutely.
Yabo?
I get that.
And the same with you. Like, I think you're an amazing dad and it's beautiful. But I want you to be the best you before.
And here's what's funny, guys. Can I share something that's like vulnerable and true, and I've never said? But like Mpumi actually doesn't find my fathering attractive.
What? Okay, continue.
Like out of everything, I always realize that you don't find me attractive for fathering. Like it's almost like actually nothing lose my points for being a good father. I'll tell
Okay.
you that. She wants me to be me, and the
Yes.
me that she fell in love with.
Yes.
And by that I mean the essence.
The essence of
me.
you, yes. Not you being the
So-
same person as.
Yeah, it's not saying you have to, but like I realized, Gucci, like there's certain things that I didn't do anymore because I was so comfortable in being a father.
I'm a great father. I do this for
And
my
it's such a
kids.
thing. Like it really does give you like a chip on your shoulder
Yeah.
where you can
Especially
kind of,
because men.
because men are so
the
trash.
standard
Like
is
it's
very
it's
low.
very low. I
Yeah.
just have to be there.
Yeah, like you're thriving. Like you're
you
killing
win
it.
and just by being there and taking pictures.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Obviously changing diapers and
All
teaching the
works.
kids about dinosaurs. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of work
Yeah.
to being a dad. But I realize that to you, like it's like give him 0, ma'am.
Well, because
It's like it's not gonna be like
you
you
have
don't.
to-
And it's funny because on the internet, it's like such a big thing.
Yeah.
You know, but like you're supposed to do that.
But remember, I grew up like that.
For sure.
I grew up like that. Like my dad, hard as he worked, as much as he traveled, and I've always understood that he's a very Zulu man, and he didn't have his dad. So everything he was doing for us, he was basically, I guess, figuring out on the go. But my dad's had a huge role,
And
played
he was
such
good
a
at
huge
it.
role, and he was good
But
at it.
did he do TikToks though?
No, he didn't. He didn't. But my dad
Okay.
made dresses for us.
Yeah,
My
your
dad
set a very high bar.
my dad took us to the Kruger National Park for holidays, and
Yeah.
so
Made you guys camping our
and
food.
you know, and so and he was there. He
Yeah.
was really really there, and I know my mom played a huge role in that. Where because my mom grew up in that kind of family, so I think
Sure.
where she could see good. This needs my mom would do that, but we didn't have to see that, and so the same for us. So when you're showing up, I'm just like, of course, the same way I'm showing up, you're not clapping for me for showing up.
Yeah.
Of course I'm supposed to show up, so of course you're supposed
But
to
what
show
I
up.
was getting to, and I'm glad we spoke about that
Yeah.
because that's important. I realized that Mpumi really, what she wants from me is to be myself
Yeah.
and live fully to my potential.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was kind of getting at in that. That's what's attractive
Yes.
is being yourself
Yeah.
and us being us.
Us,
Like
yeah.
not you being a mother or you being Mpumi.
Being Pumi, yeah. That's
And
what
me being
because that's
Brendan.
what you shall add. I get,
Yeah.
and that's what I said yes to. And I guess this goes into another conversation of letting ourselves go.
Yeah.
In relationships, whatever that looks like. You're not dreaming anymore, like a person
Yeah.
not dreaming anymore, not being ambitious, and especially if someone was always that. And it goes back to that
Yes.
incompatibility thing again, which we were compatible because we both had dreams. We were
Ambition.
compatible because we both liked church. We were compatible because we both liked tattoos, or we
liked
both
travel.
like travel. And now we're married,
And
and
now
now
you
you
don't
don't
like
want
it.
to. You just
wanna watch
want
sports.
to. You just want to watch sports and ride bicycles with the kids. Okay, minage.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like I became the watch sports and ride bicycle with the kids kind of guy. Like I was content.
Yeah, content.
I was content with that, and not in a bad way.
Yeah.
But in a way that I was willing to sacrifice myself because I guess I got a false a false level of fathering or being good. Yabo? Like Ganti, it's fear.
Oh wow, yeah.
Ganti, the whole time it was fear of being the best self and putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
And going
Sure.
back to a world where you are exposed
Yeah.
and you could fail.
Yeah.
Yabo?
Yeah.
So you
Because to your
fight.
kids, you're a hero.
I'm a hero, whatever I do.
Yeah.
So that's what I realized. That's why I was saying I wanted to be vulnerable about that because I realized that I was covering my own fear of being Brendan Praise.
Yeah.
By just being, daddy.
Daddy.
Because being daddy, like I said, I couldn't screw that up.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's
Thanks for opening up. I think that's
We're
really
back.
appreciated.
we're really back now.
Irreconcilable differences. What do those look like?
Sure. I think it's when you plateau.
What
Been saying
what
that
could
word a
be the
lot.
one thing for us where we right now, like things change over. Like right now, what do you think is the one thing that we could consider something we can't reconcile? Not necessarily that we have to divorce, but we just can't reconcile this.
So it's the tambourine issue.
Yeah.
Where sometimes you sing lead
Yeah.
and sometimes
You sing back. You,
you
play the tambourine. Yeah.
And so if one of us was unwilling to play the tambourine
I agree.
when it was time for them to play the tambourine,
Yeah.
and we both wanted to be the lead singer,
Yeah.
it would cause a very bad collision.
Yeah.
Like I just think it just wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work.
Because-
not for our family. And not for the
our
things
family,
we value.
Yeah.
Not
so,
for the things we both value.
So I think that would probably be the one thing that could really just kind of put us at a place where, like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Because if you I have to,
And you also say, I have
and I'm
to.
like, I have to. I have to do it. Like it's my purpose.
Yeah.
Yabo, mailing kule emshadweni every day.
Yeah.
And you're like, I have to be reading all the books that have ever been written. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
and it's like none of us is willing to compromise.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good way to put it, Gay. It's when two people have two important things and no one is just willing to sacrifice.
For sure.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
matters to both.
Matters to both of
People.
them, and it's I guess it's a core thing for them. It's really at the core of who they are.
Yeah.
And giving that up feels like betraying themselves.
That's. I think we've spoken about that
Yeah.
a lot. The betraying self thing. That in our relationship, we never ever want the other person to betray themselves.
Yeah.
So moving on, I've got top 5 reasons for divorce. This is according to Google. Infidelity, which we've already spoken about. Lack
Is
of
this in
this is
order?
not in order. This is not
Okay.
in order. Infidelity.
Because I was gonna say there's no way infidelity is number one.
I think money is number one.
Money has to be number one.
Yeah, money is number one.
When I don't have money, I wanna divorce me.
That's
I
a good one.
don't-
That is actually true. I'm not like that. Okay, but I never not have money.
Guys.
Have you ever experienced me not having money? No.
When we started dating, you had nothing.
No, but I always had something. Did you want to divorce me when I had no money?
I was carrying a very, very heavy load.
Literally.
I didn't want to divorce you, but
It was a lot.
I just it was just a lot. It was a lot of pressure.
I made plans. It's not like you were
You did,
alone,
but
alone.
like ukuthenga isinkwa and keeping the lights on and paying for cars and what.
It's a lot. It's a different.
It's a different kind of thing. But like, yeah. But I know in the past maybe 2 years.
No, I haven't been broke since we got married. The last
No,
time
you were broke. You were broke just after we bought this house. You were a little
yeah,
broke.
but that's a different broke.
Yeah.
That's not.
You were a little broke.
It's a different broke though. That's
Yeah.
not okay. But anyway, lack of intimacy, communication, money, and addiction.
Addiction.
Yeah. So we need to choose one here that we're gonna dig into. Lack of intimacy or money? Which one do you want to talk about?
The money is the one. The money is the one.
really?
Yeah, because look, it's
Okay,
such a
I get why
it's
you
a
say the
strange
money
thing.
because the money one can be connected to
It connects to a
value,
lot of things.
character, purpose.
It's connected to a lot of things, and I think this is my opinion. I think, especially for women, it's connected to security, and I think security is such
absolutely. I
such a
agree with
big
you.
need
Yeah.
for women.
Yeah.
That not having money is a lot of pressure for a man. Like for me, it's like really I work. My whole goal is to never have that problem because, and not because I feel like Uzong, you're gonna leave me because I'm mali. I feel like I won't be able to lead you in the way that I want because I'm mali. You understand?
That's true.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
true.
angifuna ukuthi, babe, I wanna do the pool. Ngicela ungithumele imali. Oh my God, this guy. Yeah, well, like,
Yeah, or let's go on a date.
Or
will
let's
you
go on a
pay?
date. Or ini.
But it happens. Let's be honest. It does happen in relationships
Ukuthi, yes, for sure.
Yes.
But I'm just saying, Guti, like,
for prolonged period.
for prolonged period,
Yes.
it really gets tired. I understand. Every person goes through a
Yes,
phase
it
of
absolutely happens.
you know, like money not flowing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's my business people.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
sometimes we have cash flow
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah.
But that's because one, we overinvested or we overcommitted or whatever. That's
But I think
different.
what we're also getting to what's important is that the finances conversation has to really be open. And I think that's what helped us during lockdown because obviously during lockdown you weren't having there weren't any gigs for you, right?
Yeah, I was broke.
Music gigs. But because of our money conversations and the way we operate with money, I'm passionate about financial education. Before even lockdown happened, there was no debt. There were savings involved, and then there was different streams of income. So you're not just
I'm not
a
just-
singer.
Yeah, so I wasn't just getting, and also being na deposit or maki, so that really helped.
That helped too.
That helped too.
But I think because the truth is that there's gonna be times when you
There
don't have
is,
money,
for
and,
sure.
and I think the internet has portrayed this thing that Indota must always have money, and that is not the case. The same way in my business, I have cash flow problems. Is the same way sometimes in your
Indota must
business.
always have a plan.
indoda must always have a plan.
Yeah.
That's 100%
So Mina,
true.
that's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
Wabona
okay.
lobo broke where
Yeah.
you don't have a plan.
Yeah.
That scares me. Like that's
Yeah.
why
I think that scares a lot of women
that's
as
why
well.
and it scares women. I
Yeah.
think that's what leads women to kind of be like hi
Yeah.
because
it's more a plan thing.
it's like okay, I get it, you don't have money now, but like when?
Yeah,
it's
when,
like when they cut out the water. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, we'll
fine.
make plans. It's a 5 liter, but like when?
Yeah.
When are you guys
Yeah,
restoring?
restoring the water. And then that gives a level of comfort.
Yeah,
then you know where to
so you kind
assess
of want
what
them to be
plans
like,
to
look,
make.
we're working. There's a blockage, gupi
Yeah.
gupi. We're repairing gupi gupi
Yeah.
gupi in
Yeah.
ETA.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, my whole goal, and that is why I think I've continued to evolve as a person and do other things, was because I recognize, Guti, like, I think in a way the pandemic was a blessing for me because up until that point I was just so focused on music, whatever, music, and I realized that music is my life, but there's so many different aspects of music.
Yeah.
Like I realized I had money waiting like through like publishing and whatnot that I didn't even know about.
Yeah.
Just because I was so focused on what I
Gigs.
knew and
Yeah.
gigs and whatnot. And so the whole thing is that Indota must kind of constantly be making a plan
Yeah.
of what's the next thing.
And umfaz, in fact. All
And
of us.
Mfaz, I
As
think
a
we all,
family.
I think even women are
yes.
stressful when they broke. I think
Yeah.
everyone is stressful when they broke. Like they're not nice to. Like I know when I call my friends and they're not and they broke, I can
Just
just
like-
tell.
just like,
No, but we are
ah,
better that day.
good
Like
try."
like we are bored nje. Like awufuna ukuphuma, like
No, I think I genuinely think financial security is
Is
a
important.
big thing, and also understanding each other's relationships with money.
With
I think
money.
we've gotten in a better place where, because you're the spender and I'm the saver. I'm able to allow you to be who you are based on your relationship with with money and upbringing, but also to come in and see your blind spots without downplaying or ignoring your relationship with money,
Yeah.
right? And that's where I come in by encouraging you to say, okay, let's save here, spend here, save here. Whereas with me, you're able to say, babe, I genuinely think you should get yourself something nice, you know? But also being aware of the fact of my upbringing and my relationship with
Sure.
money. So I think as a whole, money is just the surface part of it. Yeah, it's not the root. I think the root of it is the relationship with money and finding the security within each other. Because there's couples who've made it through being broke, and couples who've made it through being rich. And I can say, Guti, there was just more to the relationship than just that.
Yeah, I think so. And I think also money is connected to your purpose, right?
Yeah.
What does the Bible say? The Bible says something. It says your gift shall make room for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It does say that, does it not?
It does.
It sure does.
Yeah.
And so for me, I do feel that a lack of money is also a reflection of you being out of sync with your purpose.
Okay.
Because why wouldn't you have the provision if you were doing what God wanted you to do?
Oof, that's so sensitive.
It's sensitive, but it's real. And I think that's why you stressed. Like, that's why we go into so much stress, because you know that, hi, man,
I
I'm not
could be doing
there's
something-
something that I need to be
something's
doing that I'm
missing.
not doing.
Yeah.
And so you need to figure that out. And
Yeah.
so it's a deeper thing for sure.
Yeah.
But on the surface, it really is just kind of being able to make a plan
Yeah.
day to day and figuring out how you move forward.
Yeah. And I think practically, while we move on, which ties into the plan thing, this is what I always say to my team. And I was saying this to them this morning, that I don't want you to just do your role in your job.
Sure.
I can do everybody's role in my company, and you should be able to do everybody's role. And I made an example. I'm going away in January. You guys expect salaries at the end of the month. How are they going to happen if I'm the only one who does this? And I said, by the time, and this led to me saying, Guti, how are you going to know what you like and what you're good at if you only do this one thing? Try out and explore different things until you find that one thing that actually feels like home to you, that sits well with you, that you're good at, and then you can know to focus on that. But I think we're just such dimensional people, but we first need to tap into that one thing, explore, or first need to explore different things, and then hone into this one thing. If it doesn't work out, try out that and try out that and try out that. But somewhere in all of that, I think there's
There
a
has to
plan.
be growth,
There
man.
has to be growth.
And you're right. Like, essentially, like uyabola, if you just do the same
if you
thing
do the
over
same-
and over again.
Yeah, that's so true. Okay, what are the dangers of talking about divorce in a marriage? Did we ban the we've banned the divorce
We
word
did,
and
because
then
Mpumi used to abuse it. she used to abuse it, so we had to ban it. But I think the dangers, I would say, the biggest danger is like to use it so recklessly
yeah.
that it loses power.
Someone said this to me, and we were having a conversation. A friend said it to me, and we were having a conversation. And I guess in the relationship, I'm like her husband, and she's like you in terms of sort of personalities and stuff. And her husband has used the divorce word, or like let's leave this, and I've used that and stuff. And she made me aware of something, and she said, "Well, how would you feel if someone kept threatening you with, 'I don't need you, so I can just leave you'?" And I was like, shucks. If you actually think about, like, for me, it can, for other people, it can just roll off easy. Good, if I glungy, let's just do this. But imagine every time if you said that to me. Like, not even every time. You've never said it to me. But if once you came to me and you say, actually, I don't want to be with you anymore. And she just gave me such a different perspective.
I think that's the danger of it, is that different people will react differently to
Yeah.
it. Some people would be then like, okay, then it's
sure.
fine, okay.
Yeah.
Sienzani.
Yeah.
Some people would feel inadequate. They would bazotatazela, bazophithizela. They will never ever get to a point where like bazofila ngathi they always have to prove something.
Yeah.
And you want a person to be their authentic
Be
self.
themselves around you.
Yeah, so it's definitely dangerous.
Yeah, and I think also
not
playing
nice. It's
around,
unkind.
it's unkind, and playing around with it. As a man thinks, so is he. So he becomes. And I think the more you open yourself up, and please take this conversation in context, the more you open yourself up to the option of not being with your partner every time they do something that upsets you or irritates you, the more it becomes okay, and it becomes okay, and it becomes a seed that is planted in your marriage, and that can eventually grow if it keeps being watered. So I really think the words that we speak, especially if you don't mean it.
Yes, because think about now, if you decide good ufuna ukuthenga iMicra, as soon as you drive out this
That's
house,
all you see.
you're just gonna see Micra.
Yeah.
Because you've put it in your head,
Yeah.
and you
So
are
you've seen
aware
it. You've seen it in
about
your head, yeah.
So I think it's the same thing. Once you put that option out there, then you just start seeing it viable.
Yeah.
And you emotionally start to prepare
Prepare yourself.
yourself.
So if you don't mean it, don't play around
say
with
it,
the
yeah.
word repent. The last thing I want us to talk about is, we know that divorce doesn't just happen. Marriages are shaped by the habits and routines we fall into. There are 3 habits that could lead to divorce, and that can kill your marriage, basically. Number 1, putting your kids before your spouse, putting your parents before your spouse, and putting yourself before spouse. We've already spoken about the kids and putting yourself first. So let's just end it with putting parents before your spouse.
It's the worst idea. Now, it doesn't mean you shouldn't have a relationship with your parents.
Yeah.
Of course you should.
Yeah.
But the type of relationship that you have with your parents, because it's also essentially you sharing a life with someone.
Yeah.
And if your mom knows more about how you feel than your husband, I think
It's
that's a problem.
A big one.
That's a big problem, because you then are sharing your life with your mom.
You're intimate with your mom.
Yeah, you're intimate with your mom.
Yeah.
And maybe you guys should raise your kids together. But it's it's a big problem, because then there's a whole life that your partner isn't aware of.
I used to always get this question every time I did a Q&A. How do I have such a beautiful or such a great relationship with my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law? And the more I think about it, it's not so much what I did, but what you did. And from the very beginning and get-go, you set the standard for how your wife will be treated. And it was very clear to everyone that it's either you treat my wife like this or we out sort of
Yeah.
way. And I think that is very, very important, especially for men and for husbands who are extremely close with their families and breadwinners, etc., who's been there for their families. It's very important for you to set the standard for how your wife will be treated.
Yeah, because I understood one. My mom and I, we were very close.
Yeah,
we had
extremely close.
we had a like she was my wife.
Yeah, she was.
You know, she was the saver.
She was holding your money.
She was holding my money.
First person you call.
So
Yeah.
it's for me. If I'm now essentially Pella, I moved and I got someone else. So I kind of had like that role. Like we can't have two managers
No,
or two
we can't.
CEOs. Like I'm like, okay, this is then your new role.
And I feel like if you don't define it for her, it can be unfair in the fact that also you've just replaced me or you've just
For
gotten
sure.
someone else and I'm just left. So I think it's important that you explain it to your family.
For sure. Or just do it. You know? I feel like this is what I feel like.
Yeah.
Part of being a man is taking charge of your life, right? If you feel like you're grown enough to start your own family, to leave your dad's family, or to leave the family that you live in
Yeah.
that has its head, be it your grandmother
Yeah.
or your mother,
Yeah.
and you feel like you now can do that,
Yeah.
then do it. Yeah,
Don't half
don't
do it.
half do it.
Yeah.
Like
Unless you're concerned. Yeah, like before we make decisions, we don't.
if we're
force-
in, we're in.
we're
Mina,
in.
that's the kind. And I
Yeah.
always tell you, Mina.
Yeah.
Mina, if you go into something with me,
Yeah.
we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like I'm the guy that you call when something needs to be done.
Yeah.
It needs to be fixed.
Yeah. We don't have to consult.
And consulti,
Yeah.
I will go on YouTube and learn. Yeah. So
Yeah.
for me, it was a natural order of things.
Yeah.
Kuti, I decided, me, myself, Brendan Praise, woke up one day and said, Angsafuna ukhlala nabazali bami. I don't want my mom to keep my money anymore. I don't want to confide in her
Yeah.
deep secrets. I want to find someone else. I want to find a suitable helper. Yabo?
Yeah.
So why find a suitable helper and then not use that
Yeah.
suitable helper
Yeah.
in the way that she was meant to be used?
Yeah.
Yabo?
Yeah.
So that was for me, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And in terms of Ilona, it's also understanding your person. You need to understand your partner.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people don't understand their partners. So if I know, Guti, my wife is a certain way, wherever I go that I have authority in, I prepare that place for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't just let you walk into like
fire.
Into fire.
Yeah.
You know, by the time you got home, they knew Guti, nose ring, tattoo. Yeah, like it was not a thing.
Uyazikhulumela.
You understand?
Yeah.
It was not a thing
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, actually.
Because if it was going to be a thing, then I was willing to sacrifice my family. Not to say
Yeah.
I never had to.
Yeah.
It was never a thing.
Yeah.
And the option was never there. But if I had to make that decision, even today, to
Yeah.
this day, and that's the cool thing about families, because I can always go back. Masik shubi do.
like,
I'm like, yeah, I guess it didn't work out. But like, whilst I'm in this thing,
Yeah.
I have to be considerate of the fact that, Mina, I came to your house and bothered your family.
And you did.
I bothered you guys.
Ubasukile.
I bothered you so much.
Ubasukelile.
Yabo?
Yeah.
So I can't then bring you into a situation where you aren't like
Welcome.
you
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah.
Yabo?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I think that has opened up. It opens up the other person's heart because at the end of the day, it's two different families.
By the way,
Yes.
the nose ring was my idea, ne? I
don't know.
I think I asked you to do it.
I'm not sure.
It's so cute.
I'm still considering a sleeve.
We're doing the sleeve.
We're doing
It's,
the
I've already prepared.
We're doing
Somebody-
this. You've
so
already
I've spoken
prepared
to
the
the church.
table. Oh my
Right.
God.
Sazo Shumaela.
So right. But it's allowed me to open up my heart because at the end of the day, it's not my family and it's not your family. We are bringing each other by virtue. I fell in love with you and you fell in love with me. So it takes effort for the other to feel at home. But by putting those, I won't even call them boundaries, but just setting that table and that respecting has allowed for relationship to brew. So I think specifically
No, at your house,
considering.
they know the kind of person I am.
Yeah,
or
like-
you know the kind of person I am. And
Yeah.
you make sure
I make sure that they
whenever
understand
I'm
that.
around, like they catering to
Yeah,
me.
catering
in
to
a
you.
way.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I think that's
That's it.
we've answered. It was a good conversation.
That's us.
Very
Yeah,
good
it was.
conversation. Yeah.
We built it. We built the plane as
Built
we were
it
flying
up. We
it.
built it up. So thank you so much for listening to this episode. We're back. Oh, by the way, we're going into just having 2 episodes a month of our love journey, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ngoba,
Yeah.
yeah, we don't want to give you guys. We don't want to overflood.
I just think capacity.
And also, we're still doing wisdom and wellness.
We're still doing wisdom and wellness, and the kids are more grown and have a lot more activities, and
And
the
the music
country
is
is fully open. And yeah, and we don't want to be exhausted. Like
No,
we
for sure.
wanna
We wanna
and
bring our
this-
best
We want to bring
selves.
our best selves, and this really matters to us. So we'll be doing 2 episodes a month. On a Monday.
Yeah,
And you know what? Something that I've learned in the last few months, if I can't, I can't. Before,
Yeah.
if I couldn't, Jay, I would just want to go
You'd
jump.
force.
I'd just do. But if I can't, I can't. And
it's okay.
that's okay, you know? And yeah, so we'll see you guys again in the other week. We love y'all.
Bye.
This is our love story. This is our journey.